Oh, great. The heat lamp is working on. We only bring the temperature.
If you or Mike or whoever, because I want to be if you're going to be department. I don't have a man. Unless I need walking from the. So, ask one, you can come up here and enable screen share when you're getting the stuff set up. Me and Sarah. Are you? This is one that's flowing.
That's not going to come in.
You don't see it very often.
So I need, you got, and we're gonna make it for a date.
Thank you. So how how do you get where it shows the participant where it shows who all these ones?
No. No.
Okay, there, okay. And enable screen.
No, it's not.
So when he was working, I'll just come up and do it since I'm gonna be taking the
Guys on this bed.
Okay.
Just set up. But there are. You know. What do you mean? Sure.
Body.
I did, my fault, that was him, sorry. Every time I bring this pen, she goes, no, my God, so I didn't bring it, I switched over. Like we.
It is my note taking. We'll read the order. Will you join me in the pledge? Everybody will attend. First order of business is approval of employment contract for Steve O'Brien. Have a motion. Second. Roll call vote, please.
Richardson.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. This time, Paul, you wanna swear the chief in? My pleasure to do this, first of all. Well, thank you for being here, everyone. Okay, this is to certify that on the 9th day of January, 2023, Thomas J. O'Brien, otherwise known as Jim, was duly appointed by the trustees of Harlem Township to the position of fire chief, and in and for Harlem Township according to the laws of the state of Ohio. John, would you raise your right hand? Repeat after me. I, Thomas J. O'Brien. I, Thomas J. O'Brien. Do solemnly swear or affirm. Do solemnly swear or affirm. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. I will support the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio. The Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio. And will faithfully discharge the duties of fire chief in Harlem Township. And will faithfully discharge the duties of fire chief in Harlem Township, Delaware County, state of Ohio. During my continuance in office. So help me God. So help me God. Thank you. Okay, next item is to approve the contract for Jacob Wade. Second. Second. Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Roll call, Richardson.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
All motion passed.
Keith O'Brien, would you like to? We're gonna give you cheap. Oh, I, raise your right hand, I, state your name. Wait, that's why I put it on there, that way you know what it was. Do solemnly swear. Or affirm that I. Support the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio. And will faithfully discharge the duties. Of firefighter paramedic. In Harlem Township. Delaware County. State of Ohio. During my continuance in office. So help me God. Thank you.
Yeah, I do, thank you.
Okay, now we need a motion for the contract for Nick Householder. Second. Roll call vote, please.
Roll call, Richardson.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. Motion carried. Steve? Thank you.
So I say I, you say your name. Yeah, say your name, right? You got it, okay. Right. All right, raise your right hand. I. I, Nick Householder. Do solemnly swear or affirm. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio. And I will faithfully discharge the duties of firefighter paramedic. In Harlem Township. Delaware County. State of Ohio. During my continuance in office. So help me God.
Right. Okay, now we need to approve or adopt the assistant fire chief position. Second. Okay, roll call please.
Richardson.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye. Motion carried. Now we need to adopt approval of the job description for assistant chief. Okay, roll call again, please.
Richardson.
Aye.
Paul. Jackson.
Aye. This time, chief, would you like to swear in, Mike?
I, Michael McKean. Do solemnly swear or affirm. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And laws of the state of Ohio. And I will faithfully discharge the duties of assistant fire chief. In Harlem Township. Delaware County. State of Ohio. During my continuance in office. So help me God.
Barn here, from the health department.
Great.
No.
Financial.
Your muffins are, I got like three of them.
Lisa, we're on to the financial. We need to inform them that.
Oh, okay.
Form here, so from the health department, so if you wanna go back to that one.
Warren, you have something for us?
No, not anything. I think I sent you guys an invitation to that February, about helping behaviors and then we have a mini grant coming out in February also.
Thank you. Okay, Lisa.
You received the January 2023 financials. And then approval of trustee minutes, January the 4th, the reorg, January the 5th, special meeting, January the 9th, special meeting.
I make a motion to approve these minutes. Second. All those in favor, aye. Motion carried, motion approved.
Approve the warrants and vouchers available to pay said bills and the payment listing report, starting with warrant 12729 through warrant 12756. Voucher number 1-2023 through voucher 8-2023, total amount $98,455.54.
Second, okay. Motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Resolution to amend the 2023 temporary appropriations from 200 or permissive MV tax fund from 210,000 to $193,892.
Motion approved. Second. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Motion carried.
To establish the general capital project fund in accordance with the section of 5705.09 of the Ohio Revised Code. The purpose is to accumulate resources for acquisitions, construction, and improvement of fixed assets.
Motion approved. Second. All, President, roll call on that one, please.
Richardson? Paul?
Aye.
Jackson?
Aye. Motion carried.
Establish a fire capital project fund according with section 5705.09 of the Ohio Revised Code. The purpose of the fund is to accumulate resources for acquisitions, constructions, or improvement of fixed assets.
Second. All those in favor, now, we will call that, please.
Roll call, Richardson?
Aye.
Jackson?
Aye.
Paul?
Motion carried.
Approval to transfer CDs to Star Ohio. We have 2 CDs left. And we've had them since 2010, and we've earned $600 in interest from that.
Wow. As opposed to our STAR account figures, which are, in 1 month, that exceeded, that amount. That would be, we got 224,000 in there roughly in the STAR account. So the interest rates respectively from November or September through December is $364, $575, $575, $683, $805. So you can see the difference. Even if you split those two in half, get it down toward 100,000. It's still 3 times the yield.
It's like double.
Yeah, it's 3 times. So I would recommend to the board that we transfer that 106,000 out to the STAR account. Second. Roll call vote, please.
Roll call, Richardson?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Jackson?
Aye. And that's due to expire April of, this year, correct? So that's for another 100,000.
Yeah, and that's our last.
We'll end up, lay that out at the time, I guess, on that. Okay. Thank you. Last item on this page is the tractors and steel bids.
Okay, here's the bids.
Bid is now Davidson, $11,109.87.
Can you read that amount again?
$11,109.87.
Okay.
Alan Davidson. Bob Singer, amount of $2,550. $10,400 from Kurt Nichols. Final bid. $12,500. Jay Paul. So that's, 5 bids. Board going on. Mr. Chairman, make no one I'll second that motion. Roll call, please.
Richardson,
Aye.
Paul abstain, Jackson.
Aye. Motion carried. Yeah, we need to name these finance. Can we do that? Yeah, I'll try to do that. I should put that in. That'll be my whole motion now. Make a motion, that's fine. I'll second that motion. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Richard, can you read the signing and fill it out? Okay, wanna hold anybody up? Holly, you wanna do a report?
So you should have received my monthly report. It outlines the meetings that I have attended on behalf of Harlem Township and also preparing the quick strategy guide. One thing I wanted to point out to you that I think is important is that I have been attending the Licking County Transportation Improvement District meetings. I believe all three of you are aware of that by this point in time, but Dave Jackson went with me to the Delaware County Engineer's Office where we reviewed a study that Licking County Transportation Improvement District is completing using MS consultants, looking at the 10-minute drive time to Intel, which takes in a good portion of Harlem Township. And so some of the land uses that they utilized within that study weren't aligning with what the different communities are planning for. So we were able to get the numbers to them for what Harlem Township has in its quick strategy guide. And they're going to be putting out recommendations in the next several weeks, I would say, of what improvements need to be made in and around the area. And I think that's important as we move forward. The other thing that I wanted to bring up tonight are the community meetings that we are holding to help educate the residents on the quick strategy guide that's being prepared and what the recommendations are within that study. We've had roughly about 150 people who have RSVP'd to at least one of the meetings. We had A total of 10 people RSVP'd to our first meeting yesterday and 10 for the second, but more than that showed up, which is my typical experience when I go to communities. We always get more than what we were anticipating.
What was the attendance there?
We had about 40 between the two meetings. It was a really good attendance. It was actually a really good size, in my opinion. It was not too small, not too big. We were able to communicate and talk in a regular conversation style. I mean, there was a presentation by me, but I did feel like it was open dialogue as well that made people and the residents feel comfortable. I thought the meetings went very well, in my opinion, helping them to understand what is out there and to educate them on the different infrastructures that are coming this way and the reasons why we're preparing the plan and the recommendations where we are. I'm not gonna say that people are concerned. I agree and I understand and I empathize with them. But what the message we're trying to get is, you know, let's chart our own destiny. Let's create a community that we as Harlem Township want to see, not what anyone else wants to do. Let's do set the stage for development. So.
I did have one individual that we actually changed his mind on.
I actually got a phone call today from a lady in the community who said that she really appreciated the information that she had heard from other residents on it that came to the meeting because she hasn't been there.
Okay.
And so she said the input that she was getting has encouraged her that she's gonna come to one of the
Good.
meetings.
Good,
So,
good.
That is very positive, very positive. The second one had me a little nervous at first. It was really quiet,
Yeah.
Holly's presentation, and then it just opened up.
Yeah.
Kind of scary. at first.
It was, but it all turned out well.
Any questions for Holly on computer? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Holly.
You're welcome. And I'm gonna get out of here because I'll be back here tomorrow.
see you tomorrow night.
More meetings tomorrow.
Yeah.
Dave?
Well, yes, can you sign it? So, Dave Snyder, Park Planning Committee, committee our annual report to the trustees. Park Planning Committee finds that the condition of Harlem Township Park is good and continues to provide a positive township asset contribute to the current overall health of this community. The calendar year 2022 highlighted by installation of the playground, completion of the installation of the new equipment for the new playground. Under leadership of the trustees, Harlem Township invested in a coordinated efforts to maintain existing facilities and initiated discussions laying the foundation for planning for development, expansion, and acquisition. We thank the trustees for their leadership in all of this. I believe we're getting ready to go with our second part of all of this presentation. We thought visual and connect better for a lot of people on the kind of work and accomplishments of the volunteers that helped a lot with park planning, committee work, maintaining and working to complete installation of equipment in the two playgrounds and planning for future work. And I think that's what we're gonna see here in just a few seconds. If you have questions, happy to answer them now.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It is fine.
Look at that thing you just said, pretty good. Do that thing you did. Screen sharing, you're gonna be great. Right at the bottom, it says screen sharing, meeting control.
Well, it's already on the screen there, but nothing.
It's already on screen share.
Yeah.
See, but the screen it's sharing is my screen, not yours.
Both disabled, but it's on screen sharing.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, we have some wonderful photographs to share with you. May I have to describe them verbally, for about 5 minutes?
She doesn't make come up, doesn't show his name. And when I put on share, it's probably followed it.
I don't know. Wait a minute, that's his face covered there.
Yeah, but they, what they're seeing is my screen. Yeah, he is like this. Yeah, what I'm sharing is this screen. It's not. But you need to share that screen. Yeah. Let's get.
Did bring you back anything?
I know, I asked for cake too. See what I can do.
What's that?
Chocolate. You know.
Yeah.
I never had it.
Like vanilla.
Oh, control. Yeah.
You know.
Technical.
All is mail out.
Student.
Host disabled participant screen sharing.
That would be my.
I cannot share.
Okay. Approval of disconnect from failing security lights for the building.
Yep, they're making a motion for.
All those in favor, aye. Disconnected.
Who made the motion?
Here, or I.
Okay, and then Jerry seconded, and it was an all yes.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
Zoning department computer. Meter. Comparable makes other areas $2,764, so I think Amazon went. Have a motion for that. Second. All those in favor, aye. Motion carried. Gary Walters of Railroad Insurance has reopened the claim to the township for the water damage. Contractor will be here tomorrow, 19th, to give internal water, damage estimates. T&T Roofing will be here next week to estimate storm damage and repairs to the roof. Administrative assistant, the vacation May 27th to June 2nd, using 1 week of vacation. Reminder, administrative assistant, the trustees will be attending the Ohio Township Association Conference in Columbus, January 25th, 6th, and 7th. Maintenance, report. We need to, have a motion to approve the township road mileage to ODOT. The second. All those in favor, aye. Aye. And so that needs to be signed and sent, but you have a form.
I got all kinds of stuff for you to sign when we're done here.
All right, there you go. Okay, next item is the, approval of the John Deere Gator we were talking about with, file attachment. This, price is $36,997.53. That's got the cab. Cab, he knows, okay. Second. Okay, have roll call, please.
Richardson,
Aye.
Paul,
There might be a couple pieces left.
Motion carried on the
Thank you.
first. Now, is there a reboot on the parks?
There is.
Oh, cool. We got
How about that?
right back on plan where I had it on the agenda.
Yeah. That's what I get for jump place.
That's right.
I caused it.
So there's our park from 6:05. And the welcome sign at our playground. January, we put up the climber, the brand new playground equipment. So that was the crew in process. And it was a complicated affair that we did not try to do ourselves. There's the finished product with the crew that put it up. First satisfied customer, Millie, Jerry's grandchild. And the person who shall remain nameless, who was first to the top. The old wooden benches on the bleachers were rotting away. So we replaced them with aluminum. Thanks to the trustees' support. Likewise, the basketball backboards were old, and one of them was made of plywood, and one day it was just hanging by a thread. So we refabricated the backboard locally, had it powder coated, put up new rims, painted the posts, put down lines. We had a little bit of room left over in the playground area after installing the first 4 items that were initially planned. And so we called in this Cracker Jack crew, including Bart, our maintenance chief, and installed a center post there. If you can guess what that might be, it was a spinner. Something many of us enjoyed in our youth in a local playground. That same day, we went across the way there and poured a concrete pad underneath a water fountain, which was soon to be replaced. And there it is. And we advertised its availability. There's a tree planting effort that we did. I think about 6 trees or more were put in around the playground this year. We had a fitness day, but it was rained out, so not a lot happened. We just stood around and ate and talked. Yeah, so we've got over 100 trees in the park there, and all of them were pruned and such over the course of the year to make them look good. The old school memorial has bells that were salvaged from demolished buildings, and they were old and rusty, and they looked their age. So we had them powder coated and sprayed off, and there's the township maintenance staff putting them back up, and they look pretty spiffy now. And on top of it, the company that did the work donated the service. The Belts Preserve gave us one of these mobile grills for a small donation. We received a shipment of 110 cubic yards of mulch to top off our playground, which needs to be done every 3 years or so. And there's Otis, our other maintenance person, helping to spread it around. Took a while, but we got it done. And then we decided to put wear pads underneath the equipment that receives a lot of traffic. So we dug out under the swings, laid down pads, covered them back up again. So we're not gonna get big dips, big valleys underneath these swings that we used to. Likewise, at this inclusive, accessible swing. One of the crew is drying themselves and finishing off the job. And the same thing around the spinner. We received a memorial gift from family and friends of Kenny Buell. A local family with lots of kids saw our bulletin board up in the park and said, let us make you some seasonal decorations. And so that's their first one, put together by the kids. And then they've got one up there now for winter. And we're just trying to encourage more volunteer involvement with the park. We have these nice permanently mounted benches around the ball diamond and the playground. They were looking a little weathered, so we stained those. We also did the same thing for the wood surrounding the memorial bricks at the school memorial. And blue skies and a bright future is what we see in the future for our park. Thank you for your support. That's it.
I'd just like to say that, you thank the trustees, Ed, but, the committee are the ones that really deserve the thank you. We certainly thank you, the committee, hours and hours, all over. So.
Yeah, Dave Snyder, Tom Reed, myself, and you. Yes.
You may want. Thank you.
With that being said, the Parks Committee has put together a thank you letter for Soda Clean of Ohio that reconditioned the bells for the park. We have it for if Dave Snyder would sign it and then the trustees would sign it, so I can put it in the mail to Soda Clean to thank them for their generosity. We'd appreciate that. So.
Very good. Yeah. Anything else to add, Dave?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I interject one more thing
Sure.
before you move on down the agenda? Earlier today, it was brought to my attention that Sherry Steele has been the administrator for the Zoom account through the township. With her resignation, we should probably think about appointing someone maybe internally to be the administrator of the Zoom account. Just to manage, like today, the whole thing with the cloud was full, whatever they bought with the Zoom account. So we had to go in and do some, Steve Eisenbrown come in and him and I figured out how to get in there, and he managed moving around some of those files and stuff to free up so the zoning can go back to using Zoom. So I was discussing it with Mr. Richardson, since he is part of the strategic planning committee, and they use Zoom as well, as to ideas of who would be a good candidate for administrator of the Zoom. So with that, I will just kind of throw that out there so you guys can kind of think of who you might want to request to do that.
Can that be set up like, I'm gonna say it this way, it would be an administrator, just administrator would be the name on it, but you as an assistant, as a trustee assistant, administrator, whatever, can, I mean, I'm trying to figure out how that could, we can flow that as people change or whatever.
What we could do is, just for an example, we have the main zoning email, it's set up on an email as the administrator. So right now it's under Sherry Steele. Harlem Township, it's Sherry Steele Harlem Township email. So if we set it up under zoning Harlem Township email and then created a new user password, that would make the zoning email, whoever receives that email would be the one in charge. Like if we needed to get in and there was a code that was, like a double security code that had to be put in or whatever, that person would have to be readily available to text or call and give that code to whoever needed access. So it has to be somebody who, somebody has to have a fast response time to phone calls and, text messages and stuff. To be able to, so that's the main thing there.
I would say so.
I mean, if you're okay with that.
I'm fine with that because
Well,
it
'cause I'm just
doesn't take
thinking
any
you'll
technical
have-
knowledge.
Well, you'll have the phone calls coming to you, for example, from the strategic plan,
Right,
and I think I got,
I just have a question. Have you checked to determine, my understanding before was that it had to be an individual with an account, that it couldn't be zoned. It had to be a person that would have an account.
and that may be, we would have to
And
check.
but see, then that meant we were using everyone else that signed in used Sherry's email
Mhm.
and signed in under her name. So if you're gonna be the person, then that means that when I sign in, I'll be signing in as
Right.
Jennifer Bola.
Right, and I understand that. We cannot keep it under Sherry's email because
No,
once,
the emails won't go away.
right,
Are we hiring a zoning secretary?
she's already hired, she's already started.
My understanding is whoever was hired is not going to come and attend any zoning meetings or the BCA. Therefore, we're very concerned about how that's gonna operate since we won't have any minutes.
Well, you will have minutes. The director of zoning and development, a discussion that I've had with the trustees is one, to help them train and get up to speed, is going to be attending, and everybody that we've interviewed was more than willing to come to every meeting and actually take the minutes and give it to their assistant for her to transcribe after the meeting, like the next day or whatever, and get the minutes turned in. It'll be tape recorded and handwritten minutes, just like what Sherry did, but the director of zoning is wanting to do it.
So the director of zoning will be responsible for taking minutes at both the BZA and the zoning commission meeting.
Yes, and
I looked to see if that was part of the job description. I couldn't find a job description online.
well, it had been linked with the job posting in a hot link. So it had been on there as long as the job posting was up. Once the job posting expired,
So the job description isn't available online.
not right now, no. But that is, taking the minutes is not necessarily on the job description for either position, but the zoning director has said that, that is something that they're willing to do indefinitely. They wanted to be the one to do that because they feel like they're in charge of the minutes. That's one of the things they wanted to make sure was handled. So
Okay, well.
I thought that that was, a really good,
That person also needs to be aware that for the BZA, those minutes become the official record according to a zoning resolution.
yes.
So that if there is a challenge in court,
Mhm.
those are the minutes that get submitted. That's the
Right.
official record of any hearing.
And they are aware of that because we did go over that with them in the interview process. So and that's one of the reasons that everybody we talked to, we wanted to stress that just to see who would maybe buckle under the challenge of that. And none of our candidates buckled under the challenge of that. They were all actually like, no, I would rather do it so I know it's accurate for that purpose.
If the director of development and zoning is willing to do it, I certainly am not going to be objecting to that. I just want to make sure that we get minutes.
You're gonna get
We've
minutes.
got hearings coming up. First one is in,
February 6th. Mhm.
And then we got a couple other ones coming up later in the month. So I have no idea what the status is with the hiring of this new person. how soon they're gonna be hired and whether or not they're gonna be attending meetings. We asked zoning commission members if anyone would volunteer to take the minutes. No one wants to do that as a volunteer on a continuing basis.
Right.
If someone is ill and unable to attend, that's a different situation.
Right.
No one is going to do it on a continuous basis. I don't know about the BZA.
There was nobody on BZA either. We checked,
If we're capable.
we checked, we did our due diligence on this during this process, so, yes.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, so I feel the same concern about the zoning inspector, or the director. If that's what he or she is going to do, they're making that decision, not me.
right.
We want them to be an active participant in
They're,
it, not just sit there and take notes.
well, they're gonna be an active participant, I have no doubt, because they're gonna have a lot of questions, but it was part of the discussion that, or part of their job. You know, when we posed and interviewed in the job, they're gonna attend all 3 zoning meetings, at least 1 strategic planning meeting a month, and the trustee meeting to update the trustees. And so they were all, very willing to do that, plus the additional work that partakes to get them to the 40 hours a week and.
Very good.
Okay.
We'll see how it works out.
One question, Kendra, I'm sorry, guys. So there needs to be a discussion how we get, for instance, somebody has to get the ads in the Delaware Gazette and that type of thing on the BZA and that type. So is that person gonna take that information and then give it to the assistant?
Yes,
Okay,
Sherry's coming in tomorrow to train the assistant on the process of getting everything, all the public notices posted everywhere they need to go. The processing of the applications, because she's gonna be handling that under the direction of the zoning director
okay. We're
and
just all
permits
concerned
and
that,
all that.
you know, that it gets done on, because it has to be done on time.
Right,
You
right,
know, the
and that's,
ads have to be put in on a timely basis.
yes,
So, as always, when you have new people, everybody gets concerned, how are we gonna do this, how are we gonna do that, so I'm glad you're.
not a problem.
Jim, do you have anything on strategic planning? Well, we'll move on.
Strategic planning, as you were told, the meetings last night went very well. Good participation, I thought. What I liked about it, and we're hoping it carries through, we think it's gonna get a little more contentious as we get down to the southern part of the township. What I like is exactly what Holly said, it was good exchange. And nobody on strategic planning or the planner, we didn't embellish anything. We didn't smoke screen anything. We told it like it was. And I think the people appreciated that. I think they really did. In other words, oh, you know, we didn't give them, oh, it's gonna be all right, you don't have to worry. No, we told them like it was. And some of the people at first didn't like it, and then they realized. But on that basis, I thought it went real well. In conjunction with having 10 meetings that we're working on, the committees, such as my committee, we're on developer, and we have also a utilities committee and that type of thing. We are working diligently, doing things, because what we're looking at, even though the sewer is not coming up until 26. Delaware County Sewer wants our input 18 months ahead, because they have a lot to do. So we are working with, if you guys on road, we're working on watershed, we're working on sewer, that type of thing. So even while these community meetings are going on, which is taking a ton of time, we're still working on these other things, because we have a lot of communication we have to do, and a lot of calls to make, and then we have to do the math. We want to have a good presentation. This is one of the few times I think Harlem Township is going to have input on where things go. And the sewer department did ask and said, that, you know, I asked them, they said they would entertain that idea. And we will have input, so we have to get it right. So that's what we're working on, is trying, you know, we've got 10 months. And that seems like forever, but it's not, you know, waiting for people to call you back and get this, and get the map, running over to Kinko's, you know how that is. So anyway, very proud of the committee, very proud of these guys. Everybody's in there, you know, working hard. So I think the township will be proud of, you know, if things keep going, of what, you know, is being done.
Thank you. Bob, you got something to report? Yeah, the meeting.
Oh, and everyone that can, I can visit them on May 21st, not May, March 21st. Pat Seabury, who is the CEO of the Ohio Business Roundtable, that represents 200 largest corporations in the state, as well as Dana Saucier, who is the Vice President of Development for Jobs Ohio, that literally brought Intel, he is the person that brought Intel into Ohio. Will be at the strategic planning committee meeting, and we'll do presentation and answer questions.
Okay, thank you. Kendra, do you know anything else on facilities? Let's see, we got it on the agenda here.
The only reason I had it there was just in case there was any updates that any, like Carl or whoever had on facilities. We've been running out, pretty regular. We still have several rentals, in January. We have one already booked for May. So, the rentals of the Grange Hall is, staying pretty steady.
Did we get on the cleaning schedule we talked about last month?
We just want to do it quarterly.
Want to do it quarterly? I can go ahead and set it up with the cleaners that we've been using, if that's all right with you
I
folks.
think I know the basis of rental stay up like, if we have a big drop off.
Yeah, we can spread that a little bit. Okay,
I drive by there a lot, and there's folks in the building, different groups or whatever. I don't know how to do that. And they're not always on the calendar. I don't know if we need to get a hold of our group, make sure that we have something. I think we might want to consider changing the group.
it might be time for that.
I mean, it's just, they're just constantly, it seems like there's a lot of folks that, I look at the calendar, unless it's not getting posted, which I know we're both working on that.
Right.
It's just different, so.
Yeah, you'd like to have a little more control of who's doing what.
Well, the biggest thing is when something happens, there's something that happens, we don't know who to go back.
Right.
And I went in the one time and there was a lot of mud traffic. So it was two groups plus one rental that I knew. So I have no idea.
After whatever, however you want to manage it, you want to change a lot.
You look at how the lots changing, and get all of our groups to let them know that it's changing.
We can definitely get the lock rekeyed, I think, without too much.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It's just to run back to what
Right,
they're keeping saying.
yeah.
We got cemetery on here. Do you have any updates on the programming we were looking at, or the surveying? No, not yet. Okay, okay, I just don't, I can't give them a call back. I understand, still working on it. I'll try to have some good numbers by, next month, hopefully. Okay, I guess we're down to the fireplace, chief.
Just a couple things here, few things. I gave you the run to date so far this year, but that's like for 2 weeks worth. January for all departments is typically a slow month. So but 63% of those, runs we did have were EMS calls. So in resolution, next, we're just, I was not gonna do this. I'm sorry, I'm new here.
That's fine. So I'll make a motion that we, Chief O'Brien
to sign on behalf of the trustees for life back and the Lucas maintenance contract.
Yeah, yeah, this had already been done, it just wasn't an authorization to
We
sign.
have a second? All those in favor, aye? Aye, motion carries.
On the next resolution, one of the first things that I was looking at was equipment and where things stood. The medic that I'm asking you to declare surplus and offer up the DAC is over 20 years old. It needs about $3,000 some dollars worth of repair to make it where it's serviceable to get cots in and out of the back. It's been a backup medic. We can give this away, take it off our books, and then if we have need for medic, all of our mutual aid companies will let us borrow a truck, until we can figure out what we're gonna do on the road, but I think it would be a good, would help the community, get it off our books and then help DAC out because they do need that stuff. And, Chief Keen, in return, we get training and some uses of their facilities. So,
Mr. Chairman, make a motion that we declare the 2004 medic surplus with little to no value and offer to CACC. Got a second? Should we stipulate $2,500, just a question? Because I think that's the criteria. Anything has a value less than.
Less than.
So,
Yeah.
rather, yeah, so arbitrary, would you say low value? Okay. It might be a low value. I wouldn't say so. So we could maybe stipulate.
And then that's that motion, yeah.
Has a value of less than $2,500. I'll second. Roll call, please.
Richardson,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye, motion carried.
The next item I have on my list, talked with all three of you, I'd like to put that off for now. The ODOT physicals, part of the grant for the new engine is that all the drivers, potential drivers have to have DOT physicals, driver's physicals, so we researched that, and that's gonna be $84 per employee, roughly 8 to 10 people, so it'll be $8,400. We'll get back to you when we're ready to do that and let you know.
$840.
Yeah, what did I say? 8,400. I'm used to being on the other side of the river, it's big money.
You're an arbor.
I know. And then, I'd like to talk about, removing the position of captain. Right now, that's a position as a part-time position, based upon talking with the officers, talking with, Chief McKean. That's why we made him the assistant chief today. We don't really need that captain spot now. Maybe in the future, if we grow and we need to reevaluate, but rank structure right now, everybody seems very comfortable with chief and assistant chief. He will be around, he'll be working part-time, he'll be around if I'm on vacation or can't make runs, we're both gonna work together. So that assistant chief title gives a little bit more credence than captain. It's a title change only. We've got, we'll work on the money and stuff here when we switch over everything else, but we'll come back to that. But we'd like to clean up our rank structure, get rid of that particular place.
Did you want a motion on the DOT physical now, or?
No, I just wanted to let you know what's coming. Probably next month we'll be ready with Steve, but we'll just, I'm trying to give you a heads up on some things.
All right. We don't need a motion for the captain.
It would be, if you would make a motion to eliminate the captain's position, since we've had the assistant chief, that would help us clean things up, yeah.
Gonna make a motion to remove the position of captain and position of fire and place it with assistant.
Assistant chief, yeah.
I'll second. Okay, all those in favor, aye? Aye.
Thank you very much. One of the things that that was going on prior to my arrival and we continued on is, to get our staffing back up. We're still short some permanent part-time folks and some part-time people. We're actually gonna advertise again, but we do have, we have one coming on tomorrow, permanent part-time tomorrow. She has already approved. We'd like to offer contingencies to the next 3 names that's on your list here. We've interviewed them. We need to get them through their physicals and stuff, which we'll get to in the last resolution of that. But, I said it on the interviews, 3 very young people, 3 very young gung-ho people. We asked them, do you want part-time or permanent part-time, which is a little bit more regular schedule. They all wanted permanent part-time. They're all excited. They want to get in here and get their feet wet, and we want to bring them on and get our staffing up. So,
So you've got Mila here?
yes, sir. We have a female.
Female.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, first one, do we have a motion to approve contingent? Do we need to just say anything? Let's see that one. Yeah. I think that's been established.
I'm gonna, yeah, it's established.
Oh,
I'll defer to, I would just say concurrent to the current pay schedule.
Okay, thank you, thank you, requirement.
Right, got it.
I understand, but
Yeah, I got it.
I probably have it over here too, but I don't.
David.
Yeah, you laid it on my desk today, and it should be.
Yeah, I got it in here. Oh, down there right now, I got rain here today.
You find it?
$16.62 per hour.
Is that gonna be the same for all of them?
Yeah, they're all EMTs
The 16, 16?
for their first year, step A.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move that we have a continued hiring of Joseph Nelson for permanent part-time firefighter beginning.
It's on the contingency, so we don't have a beginning. and end.
Contingency and, at the pay rate of 16.62 per hour. Have a second? Roll call, please.
Richardson,
Aye.
Paul, Jackson,
Aye. Okay. Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve the continued hiring of Joseph Constable, the permanent part-time firefighter. And continue to reach the background check, pay rate of 16.62 per hour. Second. Paul, second, yeah. Roll call again, please.
Richardson,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Jackson,
And Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve the continued hire of, is it Mila?
Mila.
Mila, okay. Devell, for permanent part-time firefighter. And the background check, and my favorite is 16.62 hours. Second. Roll call again, please.
Richardson,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Okay, on the last resolution here, when we bring people on, they go through a long process of learning how we do things and learning our SOPs and stuff. We need the folks now, so, I tasked Assistant Chief Keen and Lieutenant Thrash to come up with a program. And they have developed a 40-hour program. This next resolution is part of that, so I'm going to defer to you, sir, to discuss that with them and tell them why they like to do things. To bring somebody on, yes, they've got their fire card, their EMT card, but they need to learn the Harlem equipment, the Harlem way, and everything that's going on. Generally, we do that by saying, hey, all right, you're gonna be an extra person, you're not what we count as manpower, you're gonna be an extra until you learn things. With the permanent part-time, that means that they work 24 hours every 6th day. So for us to put with, Michael Mesmer, who we approved last month and is gonna be starting his first day tomorrow, with these 4 people coming at the same time, we just thought it was highly beneficial to come up with a 1-week plan, where we bring all 4 of them in for 1 week, work Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. They will basically, we'll have our own little Harlem Training Academy. We've identified what we feel the minimums are for them to be ready to go. It won't completely eliminate them from riding as a 4th person, but it will definitely shorten the time frame up because all 4 of them will also get the benefit of getting the same information at the same time, getting their hands on stuff. Myself, PDK, and Lieutenant Thrash, we've already, and Lewis Middleman have come up with what we kind of want to include. Today, PD and I spent some time further discussing what we're gonna do, how we're gonna address it. As we talked about with the surplus of the medic, I've made arrangements to go over to DACC on the last day of the week to be able to use their training facilities over there to bring it all together, to use our trucks, go over there, give them the opportunity. And I would think by that point, 2 or 3 days I think that they would have to ride as extra as opposed to a whole other 2 more months. And you've seen from previous meetings how much overtime the full timers are working right now. That will get us our minimum 3 a day, other than one of 6 days. And eliminate a lot of the overtime and get these people up to speed and going. And I think it's a huge benefit. That's why we want to do that at the time.
So they would do your Monday through Friday.
8 hours, yeah, it's a 40-hour week, yes. So,
That's just out of curiosity, are they on other departments, and how's that gonna come into play? With their possible conflicting schedules?
I've already, as this idea was brought about, the first thing I did was reach out to all of them and say, is this something that will work for you? They have all recently just finished a program at DAC, so they're not on other departments yet. They're in the process. Some are in the process of working with Berlin. But if we're gonna do this, and as we're talking about the approval of background checks on new hires and being able to get this done ahead of time, to streamline the process. Streamline has become my new favorite word. You know how we've worked to reserve physical dates so that, we're bringing them to you tonight. They're going for physicals next week because we reserved them. Working to have the background, the approval to get the background going ahead of time. I reached out to the background investigator today and said, look, I want to get these people going. If we pay the invoice today and get you their background release, both basically coming tomorrow, am I gonna have that back by Friday, February 3rd? So that my goal is to have them going through the week of February 6th. That's 3 weeks from this week. That we can get them through in that 1 week. And like I said, really working to streamline this process and get the fire department and, they're all excited. They're all new members. Like he said, they're young, they're excited. Two of them have extensive work previously working in an administrative type bureau. Very well spoken. I'm really anxious to see if they don't end up truly becoming a big part of the foundation of Harlem Township and truly growing with this department. I really see a lot for 2 of them. I really do. But to be able to get this going. One of them even during the interview asked about going to medic school, about if we could work something out about going to medic school, which was to have them say, can I do this already? That speaks highly of her.
Question, does this still require more turnout gear for these?
We think we're okay. The unique thing about Mila is we had bought a new set of gear for one of our smaller males who ended up not being here, so we think we're gonna have a brand new set that we have somebody come in and just happen to fit into. We're not 100% sure. We haven't tried it on yet, but, that's one we definitely should not have to worry about. And I said, Lieutenant Thrash looks over that stuff, and we think we still have some that are within the 10-year guidelines.
Given that, we have a motion to approve the background check. Make a motion to approve payment for background check to the Personal Fire Department new hires at $840.
No.
No.
Should be
There's no,
1,500, yeah.
given an amount on it.
It's 15, it's $500 per.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Moving carried. Anything else, Steve?
That is it. Thank you all very much. Thank you for putting your faith in me. Thank you.
Zoning permits and compliance with the notes that Matt made for us about the order.
Yeah, Matt couldn't stay for the meeting, so he printed out a report for the trustees.
Okay. Zoning Commission, BZA, we need to, change Matt's, the date of Matt's, resignation. So a motion to, what's the end of? So the 17th, yes, sir, February 17th. Okay, all in favor, aye? Appointment of John Garwood, alternate to BZA.
He's the member of the Board of Zoning Appeals that, we,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
yeah, we had no contact with him, couldn't get him, he hadn't been to meetings or whatever, and so,
So now
We-
we good or what?
well, he came in after we removed him. He came in, he completed all the paperwork, everything he needed to do, and, is now ready and available to join the board again, if the trustees are so willing.
He didn't show up to the meeting.
Oh, he didn't.
That's kind of what I was wondering.
I mean, you know, we had his name and stuff, and we discussed him coming back, and, okay, so, he wasn't there.
Okay, because he had done all the paperwork. He came into the office, told me he would be here for the
So you
meeting.
guys do what you want, I'm just saying, we had to shuffle things around a little bit. We lost our chairman, but he's going to stay on as an alternate because he's traveling. So we were adjusting membership and so with him John not showing up, we don't know where we fit, where we stand.
Do we want to table this maybe till next month and see if we can get off?
Yeah, if whatever you guys want, that would be my suggestion. Let's see if he shows up next meeting.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Next item is the appointment of Director of Zoning and Development. We need executive session to discuss this application.
We met with all the candidates that, applied. We had two that was really, kind of neck and neck and, based on a couple of factors, Matt and I went back and forth, that we think that this Mike Cannon is the best candidate.
What is his experience?
His experience is he is a contractor and he has worked with development companies and, you know, different builders and, he has helped plan and design, different areas where he has been working with the builders. So he's also retired from, UPS, because he worked through UPS for many years in the evenings when he wasn't doing the contract and the building stuff. So, so he's not doing either one of those anymore.
Not doing contracting in Harlem.
He's not doing contract. He lives right here in Center Village.
Okay.
We wanted to make sure that he was not still contracting because we didn't want a conflict, kind of like, you know, what Matt kind of got into, but, he is retired from both. He said, the only thing that he was requesting was to give him 2 weeks to get, you know, get everything lined up and taken care of for him to start back into a full-time position. Which he would be that kind of falls in line with our pay schedule. He could start January 29th. And Matt requested to extend his time through the 17th so he could train him.
You talked about a probation period for him,
I did let him know that typically we do a 1-year probation period on all new hires. And he said, you know, he absolutely would expect that out of anybody. So he seemed to be very agreeable to
1 year.
the 1 year, to everything that we discussed, you know, going to 5 different meetings a month. You know, it's basically 1 a week is what it averages out to be. Except for 1 week, there would be, you know, with strategic planning, you know, he would.
What if we as a board would say, we'll make that an annual appointment? You know,
Just see how he does in a year, and then you can do an evaluation and then
All right.
reappoint him.
Just for my knowledge and clarification, the term is so broad. Planning,
It is a broad term.
has he got, I mean, does he have some sort of a degree in planning, or does he, when he says he's done planning, is that for specific jobs, or the type of planning we need?
My understanding is it is specific jobs, it is not a degreed planner. The problem that we're running into with the salary that we can offer, we can't get someone with a degree. So I think his experience, I mean, I would rather have someone who's got 25 years of experience planning on different developments than somebody who just walked out of Ohio State with no experience, maybe a degree.
Depends on what the job is.
And that could be.
So what we're looking for in a quote unquote zoning inspector, this person is qualified. But what we need as a planner, a true planner within Harlem Township, that is somebody without a college with that degree.
Well, he has many contacts with a lot of developers because of his construction. He knows several of the, I happen, when I was talking to him, mention some of the developers that have reached out to me to purchase my land that I've turned away. And he's like, oh yeah, I know them, and he gave me information, and he knew, I mean, he knew the developer. So he's worked with them. So he does have that familiarity, which was one of the reasons I was strongly leaning towards him. Because he does know and understand, these developers.
All communities are looking for planners and zoning people and so forth. I did talk to Scott Sanders a week last week, and I said, do you know of anybody? He said, he knew of nobody.
Right, and that's
But
what,
he's still stuck in those 50s for salary too.
Yeah.
I went online again on the American Planning Association, and there's jobs available all over the country, and they're planner 1, 2, and 3, as far as their education and so forth, and, you know, their steps to money, and on the one, we're kind of right in there at this kind of money, but then, you know, more advanced or larger cities and stuff, you know, we're not even close.
right,
So I am, Jim, Holly said she was gonna check to put the word out, but apparently there hasn't been anything
I've talked
developed. Okay,
Yeah, there's just, I haven't looked lately, I went more to like Cuba on, Ohio Township Association has some openings listed on there. There's a ton of stuff. Everybody in Central Ohio is working.
yeah, they are.
Yeah, everybody in Central Ohio is working, and anybody that has a degree in that, you get a job.
yeah,
And there was also like 4 or 5 private firms in Central Ohio because of what's going on. And of course, they pay more.
oh, definitely.
And, so, yeah, it's a tough nut. It is really tough.
Yeah.
Holly had somebody she was thinking of, but it wouldn't work.
Okay. Well, yeah, Bob.
I recall, I think the job description as reporting to an administrator, I believe, and then since the administrator is not here, to the board.
That's the way the HR attorney had us set it up for future growth. But there is verbiage that goes with, or designee, which means it would revert to the
I
trustees.
understand.
Okay,
My question though is, since they will be, that individual will be reporting to the trustees, have any of the trustees interviewed this one?
No.
Okay.
Is he here right now in the room, wire?
he is not, he's not.
Okay.
So,
I wondered, that's.
It might be wise.
I can't hear you for all the talking in the room.
Where that along with things like planning and development, you will have to deal with
people who are not following zoning code. Yes, he is, and violations, yes. All that stuff. Yes, he is. And with the Delaware County Prosecuting Attorneys, Delaware County Regional Planning, yeah, the list goes on. We gave him, well, we gave all the candidates a list of, you know, everybody. We tried to be very, very thorough in this process because we were very aware of how,
That was,
important this
you know, that
was.
was our one hope, that if we got somebody full-time, they can deal with enforcement a lot more. Because, working with Delaware, you just gotta keep on.
Right. And that's one of the things that we did go over a lot with them in the interview process was the violations and how, really it's gonna take somebody who has regular hours during the day while the prosecutor's office is open to be in contact with them and stay up on them with some of these zoning, violations. So that is something that was definitely covered.
I think that trustees probably should.
And I agree with you, Dave, but I think we gotta keep in mind that February.
Well,
13th.
that's it, and,
Concern.
after tomorrow, I'm not available anyway, so.
So I would rather, if we're gonna do this, I agree we should, let's do it. Tomorrow, that's Friday, whatever we can. As quick as we can and not, approach.
I mean, I agree, 'cause I just kind of feel it.
So I do think
I
that,
just think, I think us just hiring someone without talking to them about like.
not for what we're wanting.
Well, and I appreciate that. I had sent out information to you guys earlier, today, and I didn't get a response from anyone, so that's why it's on the agenda, so we can discuss it.
It's in that stack of 14.
Yeah,
1,400 emails, like,
yeah.
I try to figure it out, but sometimes I miss.
I'm sure. It went out at 6:48 this morning, I believe, would probably be the time stamp.
So do you think it's possible we can set up a,
I will call him in the morning and see if he's available tomorrow. I mean, I don't know how you wanna do it, 'cause we have to have 24-hour notice to do,
well, now
We could recess.
we can recess, okay?
So, is he on tonight?
I can, yeah, it's only 8:20, so,
Do that, see what day would work, tomorrow, Friday,
okay, when are you
What's
leaving,
that?
Dave?
Real early Friday.
Real early Friday, that's what I thought.
We don't
Actually, tomorrow night.
we don't want to.
Yeah, we,
These two can figure it out.
okay, I just wanted to make sure that we were,
So sooner the better.
okay,
Cause I heard that snow word in the forecast.
yeah.
First big storm. Wreck wind.
So anyway. Yeah, maybe we can.
Either way,
Recess tonight.
Yeah.
so we're gonna recess to a time and hope that guy can, or he
Well, you can check. We can take. 5
Give me, yeah, I was gonna say, take a recess right now, let me call him, and then we can come back and set the time for tomorrow.
That's fine.
Okay,
Did you see the email that I forwarded you gentlemen to James and Tony?
Yeah.
You need to discuss that in executive at the end of the. Yeah. Okay, very good. Yeah. So we'll take a 5-minute break here.
You're not on break.
I know. They know.
During that scale.
Uh, 11037. Well, because it has to do with population. So it's not really.
Where you came from.
And then, obviously, there's not change, but they sort of. Well, he had me contact. Thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that. No, but they can hear me.
He told me to tell James that he can. Fair enough.
Oh, so we'll take care of it.
Call thirteen days.
Yeah.
Surprised me.
Now, it's just.
Recognized it. When I said we want the additional hire, you can ask three.
There was a reason for that. He got that figured. Is that gonna get resolved then, or?
I agree.
I learned myself that we get through that cost.
It went to his voicemail on lunchtime.
That's good. Thank you. Good enough. Yeah.
I don't know. That's okay.
Oh, yeah,
Oh my God. When you first looked at me, then I was like, no, dude, you're missing it. Being in that higher than two times. All the way down. Like, now you understand. Oh.
He did tell me, I did call him earlier, and I let him know. We were making a recommendation for him. Taking a look at what's going on. So, he said that he had other obligations tonight. Or some of the working capacity. That was good, like, probably, and I don't know, because he didn't know how long. I'm not, you know, trying to push it. The whole, yeah, make your announcement for that, and then I'll turn it over. Yeah, no, what's this?
What time we go?
I can't get on.
Any other business that we're gonna do? We're gonna go into executive session, but we're gonna recess till noon after executive. Shall we?
I heard you.
I heard. We need to get some order back in the. Right? We're in this board.
Big man, large prize. That's a part healthy.
Once you get knocked out with it,
Wow.
We have a motion for executive session and, invite Lisa and Kendra to stay.
you wanna do that with this one? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you say, well,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion.
Roll call, please.
Richardson.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Jackson.
All right. Okay, we're. So staying with the Keith O'Brien,
Let me get it again.
Lisa, Kendra. So, and we're on there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Talk to my little bones, like, feeling a little.